Okay, where were we last time? Yeah. Now, a character in Jack Kerouac's novel was studying Zen Buddhism. This exotic subject intrigued me. So I searched in Granny's shed and I found Lin Yu Tang's book, The Importance of Living, that I'd stolen by mistake a year before. Now, they're not much to do with each other, really, but there's a little bit of Taoism in Lin Yu Tang's book. It awoke my mind a bit, but not much. The first chapter I chose to read was The Importance of Loafing. That was something I knew I'd be really good at. The water board gave me a train ticket to the town of Keith in southeast South Australia, way out in the bush. And the bloke said, we're building irrigation canals and men are needed to throw rocks onto trucks. We lived in tents and we ate great food and we worked hard. My workmates loved kangaroo shooting, but I was repulsed by the cruel way they treated wounded roos. This led me to despise the typical Aussie male. It wasn't typical, but I thought it was back then. Every night the others drank beer, but I saved my money for 4 weeks and then hit the highway. Back at Henley Beach in Adelaide, I ran into Janet Crease. I hoped she'd snuggle up and smooch, but she wasn't interested. I was after romance more than sex. I thought girls craved it as much as I did. I meant well. Janet gave me good advice. You're not made for digging ditches. You need a reference. I'll write one out that'll make them think you're the world's greatest salesman. They'll never check it out. Later on, Janet Crease wrote a book called A Reason to Live about her horrific childhood. Next day, armed with the humdinger reference, I was hired by the Myer Emporium department store. The mobile staff was a Myers innovation and a bludger's dream. Required to serve in any section exceptionally busy, I was never told who my boss was or even if I had one. I roamed the 7 floors of the store, serving where needed. For morning tea break, I took 50 minutes, and for lunch, I took 100 minutes. No one kept a watch on me, and I had 40 minutes afternoon tea break. At the end of my hard day's work, I even knocked off 10 minutes early. Every section manager thought that I was in a busier section than theirs. I worked in ladies' shoes and carpets and lino and groceries and toys and menswear and men's shoes. In an upstairs storeroom, I even snuck refreshing naps on soft rolls of carpet. There were no hidden cameras back then. Ladies buying shoes must have thought me a deviant pervert. Thinking I was God's gift to women, I sensually massaged feet as I fitted shoes. I thought, one of these broads will dig my foot handling and invite me home to live with her. I'll be like Paul Newman in Sweet Bird of Youth. My only hard work was keeping my white shirt clean every day. I didn't think to buy more than one. I quit the store after a few weeks and began night shift as a sheet metal guillotine operator. Sleeping all day suited me fine, but my rent ran out, so I had to sleep in a little back part of the factory when nobody noticed me. And I was starving hungry most of the time until payday. After 3 boring weeks, I quit. Then I lost my dough gambling and thought it was time to have some fun travelling and to find where those beatniks hung out. The narrow highway out of Adelaide, not yet a freeway in 62, snaked upward through the foothills. I stuck out a thumb and tried to look harmless. Dog-eared copies of Kerouac's Dharma Bums and Lin Yutang's Importance of Living were in my duffel bag. I studied them like holy scriptures. I had 10 shillings in change, about 25 bucks these days, a blanket, a Mad magazine, 2 long-sleeve white shirts, and a very powerful AM transistor radio that could pick up stations even way out in the bush. I don't know why it was so powerful, because there was no FM back then, but it was good. Rain fell, so I sheltered under a gum tree and read Kerouac, and holding my jacket over my head to keep the holy pages dry. I read until inspired, and then I jumped up, thinking, don't worry about rain, I'm as one with it. Yes, I'm a crazy Zen Bodhisattva, and I'm travelling from the west like Bodhidharma. 2 rides later, about 1 a.m. near Murray Bridge, the road was bare, and I tuned my radio and found the new Christie Minstrels hit. Green, green, I'm going away to where the grass is greener still. There ain't nobody in this whole wide world gonna tell me how to spend my time. I'm just a good, loving, rambling man. Say, buddy, can you spare me a dime? Alone under the stars, on a deserted highway, on a hot summer night, I felt alive and fortunate, and that anything was possible. At Murray Bridge, I leaned on a parapet of the bridge and watched the river below. When I was 8 years old, my grandpa had told me, in the old days when the bridge was being built, a workman fell into the wet cement. They couldn't get him out, so they just let him be. I stood imagining the entombed man's mouth, forever full of cement, and his eyes eternally watching cold, hard grey. One of my youthful affectations was to spit. It made me look tougher, so hoodlums wouldn't pick on me. But for a while it became a habit, even when alone. 2 years before, when I was housebreaking, I was chased by a homeowner across lawns and fences. I got away, but I thought I'd better jump one more fence to be sure. At the top of my leap, I saw below an excavation. Unable to put on brakes and not yet skilled at levitation, I fell into a 4-foot hole. My mouth hit pit edge and my front teeth smashed. The dental hospital, the real cheap, free dental hospital, stuck 2 fake gold caps on my choppers, but they were slightly loose. On the Murray Bridge, I felt like a spit and propelled a thin stream over the parapet. Both my tooth caps sailed into the dark river. Feeling with my tongue where they were no longer, I composed a haiku. River fish leap, tooth caps fly. Below, in dark water, a fish has my smile. Near Totem Bend was an abandoned petrol station, so I climbed through a gaping window. My shoes crunched on the grass-littered floor. I cleared a space, wrapped myself in a blanket and fell asleep and dreamed of a beatnik girl with black hair. Okay, next day the temperature hit 115 degrees Fahrenheit. I'll tell you about that tomorrow.